On the rolling green hills of Lungu in a small African village lived a farmer and his wife with their 3 children, Akumu, their eldest daughter, Opio, their spirited middle child, and Sefiu, the youngest. The family's livelihood depended on the fertile garden fields that stretched beyond their modest home. Season after season, they thrived, harvesting plentiful crops to feed themselves and selling the rest at the bustling village market. Akumu enjoyed going the market with her mother as she would help her not only with selling the food stuff, but she would also meet her best friends Simi and Kito and they would have fun time together. On the other hand, Opio and Sefiu were charged with the responsibility of grazing the goats on the green hills of the village and taking them to the river to drink water. The best part of the day was when their mother returned home from the market with smoked fish which she prepared with steamed cassava for dinner, and the family enjoyed this sumptuous meal, and they always looked forward to market days. Their father, Mr. Odoi, on the other hand, was a hard-working man whose main occupation was molding pots out of clay and selling them to the villagers and the neighboring villages. The pots were largely used for cooking or for cooling drinking water. The food cooked in the clay pot was very tasty and always stayed warm for long hours, while the water cooled in the pot was often cool and refreshing with a faint taste of clay connecting you to nature. Every morning Mr. Odoi and his wife would go to the garden to plant maize, cassava and vegetables, which was mainly their source of food supply at home. And in the evening, after taking a good rest, Mr. Odoi would resume his duties of molding pots while Akumu's mother would go to the market to sell some food items. For many years, this was the family routine until one season, the rains started reducing slowly by slowly. The ground started drying up and the crops would start withering. The grass turned brown due to the scorching sun and the river started drying up. The goats had no leaves to eat, then all you could see was skin and bones. The village that was previously known for fertile soil and a food basket was on the brink of a hunger outbreak. It wasn't long before some villagers started fleeing their homes to seek refuge in other far-away villages. Akumu's father fell ill due to hunger, and he could not walk as he was very weak. Hunger had engulfed Akumu's home, and worse for them is that they could not leave the village because they did not want to leave their sick father alone. One day while Akumu was seated outside their humble mud and wattle house, and the sun was burning with all its strength and hot winds were blowing from the foot of the once serene hills, she remembered a story that her grandmother once told her about a magical river deep in the far-away forest where a maiden with supernatural powers resided. The maiden, it was said, could summon the rains for those who truly believed and sought her help with pure intentions. However, the journey to the magical river was long and risky with dangerous wild animals and evil creatures. Many people who had previously attempted to embark on the journey never made it back. Akumu told her mother about the magical river and the maiden that her grandmother had told her, but her mother warned her against it as it was deemed dangerous and whoever attempted it never returned. Driven by hope, desperation and love for her family, Akumu decided to defy all warnings and decided that she must go to the magical river and find the maiden so that she can summon the rains. The next day she rose early in the morning before the first rays of sunlight touched the land. She wrapped a small piece of dried bread in a cloth and set off toward the forest. The journey was long and treacherous. She climbed hills, across dry riverbeds, and pushed through thick underbrush. Her legs ached and her throat burned with thirst, but she pressed on. She encountered wild animals, but to her surprise the animals did not attack her. She trekked and trekked until finally she reached the river's edge, a place unlike anything she had ever seen. The river flowed with cool and calm waters. The forest was thick and green, and the flowers had blossomed, the bird chirped in the trees and the sound of the running water was refreshing. It reminded her of the good old days of her village Lungu. Since she was thirsty, she rushed to drink some water and soon after she had quenched her thirst. She laid under a tree shade to rest as she waited to search for the maiden. Eventually she fell into a deep sleep. She woke up to a strange old lady with clean grey hair and wrinkled skin but with piercing eyes standing next to her. Akumu was terrified and had goosebumps all over her skin as she trembled. "Don't be afraid," the old lady said. Her voice was calm yet assertive and with moderate tenor. "What's your name?" the old lady asked. "My name is Akumu," she replied. The old lady looked at Akumu with kind yet piercing eyes. "Why have you come here, child?" she asked in a gentle voice. "I have come to look for the great maiden," Akumu replied with a trembling voice. "Well, nobody has made it here successfully in a very, very long time. It's only the chosen one who gets here safely without any harm. You must be from the chosen bloodline, that is why even the wild animal did not harm you." "How did you hear about the great maiden?" the old lady asked. "My grandmother once told me of the story of the great maiden who resided on the river deep in the forest," Akumu replied. "Are you the great maiden?" Akumu asked. "I am whom you believe I am," the old lady replied with a light smile. "I knew your grandmother. She was from a village called Lungu, and she was the last person to ever reach here successfully." Akumu, having realized that the old lady was indeed the great maiden. She knelt, tears streaming down her dusty cheeks. "Great maiden," she pleaded, "my family is suffering. The rains have abandoned our village, and we are on the brink of starvation. Please, I beg you, help us." The maiden looked at Akumu for a moment before smiling softly. "Your heart is pure, then your love for your family is true," she said. "I will help you, but the rain comes at a price. You must share what you have learned from this drought with others so that they may cherish and protect nature. Your villagers have been cutting down too many trees and burning the bushes. Those trees are home to birds, insects, bats and butterflies, and bushes are home to friendly animals like squirrels, rabbits, monkeys, mongoose, ostriches, guinea fowls and many more. Those trees also help to prevent soil erosion. The cool breeze that was blowing to your village was because of those trees. The trees also give off clean oxygen which your villagers breathe for free. I summoned all the dangerous animals like lions, buffalo, elephants, leopards and rhinos and drove them to a faraway forest so that your people could stay safe. Because of their heinous act of cutting down trees, I decided to punish them with a drought." Akumu nodded with great concern. "I promise I will tell the villagers not to cut down trees anymore." "I believe you," the maiden said. Then the maiden raised her hands to the sky and began to chant. The wind stirred, even the once clear heavens darkened with thick, grey clouds. Thunder rumbled, and moments later, rain poured down in torrents. Akumu ran home through the refreshing downpour, her heart bursting with joy. By the time she returned, the village was alive with celebration. The fields soaked up the water like a sponge, and soon crops began to sprout once more. True to her promise, Akumu became a storyteller, sharing her tale of the Rain Maiden with everyone in the village. She taught them the importance of gratitude for nature's gifts and the need to live in harmony with the land. The rains returned, then the village prospered again, but they never took their blessings for granted. And Akumu reminded them of the importance of conserving the environment. She became an environmental champion in her village. She mobilized the village and together they planted many trees and restored the forests that were previously cut down. She became the village hero and was called Akumu, keeper of the rain.